what's the first thing we want our program to do? Um, hmm. Well, this is going to open up this file and add up all the columns. So we will want, let's see, we could put the exe inside the folder that contains this file, and then it will find the file dynamically. Yeah, that would be fine. It'll find as a local file. That way if we ever change our file structure, like we're in a disk partition and it's like the D drive or whatever, we don't have to like have it know anything about that. So we actually do have instructions now. Put this exe inside. Whoa. Okay, we're overwriting right now by accident a C++ program that did something else. So we have to save this first. Save as. Where should we put it? We'll put it in our business record keeping root folder. And we'll call it tax tally adder. Tax tally adder. Okay. Put this, well, actually, let's see here. Business record keeping. Okay, since we have it here, we would double click it and it could go into the latest record year dynamically, and then it could find our earnings tallying and our expenses tallying and add them up and display totals. It could do that intelligently. That would be ideal. Ha! We wouldn't even need instructions. Just run exe and it will find the local yearly or the most recent yearly record keeping folder, and it will access that year's earnings tallying and expenses tallying documents and add them up and display totals. So there's the instructions. Keeping it simple, we don't have to like ask the user to type in anything or anything like that. You just double click it and it does everything. That's true automation. That's how it should be done. It's going to be harder, more coding, but it'll make it more convenient to use, and we don't have to remember how to use it. It will just be here, double click it, and it will go into the most recent year and do totals automatically. Alright, let me hide the monitor for a second. I always go into my other code, which I can't show you guys, to find like examples of what I want to do. I copy paste a lot. I don't have to actually write much anymore. I always am copy pasting. So let's see. IF stream. I can show it now. So we just pasted in like a function. Okay, that's not good. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that was our problem. Everything has to be in 4s. So starting from here, it has to be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Always 4. Okay. We'll rename this to read in latest year years earnings tallying log file equals true. Okay. I write whole sentences for my variable names. So it's really nice. You get to know exactly what's going on. My variable names can get really, really long. I break down that task. That's like the main task, but that involves several subtasks. So I write the main task first, and then I'll break it down. The first thing it needs to do is check for this type of folder name. Okay. Actually, I can check for the name of the file. So brute force attempt to find name of latest year file equals true. Reading in latest year's earnings tallying log file. Waiting for brute force finding of latest year file equals true. Okay. If this equals true, alright, so we always make it equal false, so that it will only run once, unless we call it again. It's kind of like functions. So the first thing to do this is it needs to do this. And this will be waiting for the results. So this section of code. Alright, so then we write what it's going to do, and then we write the one that's waiting. Alright, so I always have a variable that will set to true at the end of what it's trying to do, and then the waiting section of code will be notified it's true when that becomes true. And then you got to make them both false, so they'll both only run one time. Okay. So once this one's done, it's going to say finding latest year file completed equals true. And then that will unlock this being true and this being true. They'll both be made to false so that this code will only run once. Alright, so now we get into that. I always press Control 4 and I can press Control S to save my work. Control 4 marks where I am in the file. So if I scroll up here and I press Alt 4, it jumps back to where I am. So Control 4 I always set as like the main area I'm coding in. And then for my variables I always press Control 2. So I can jump from where I'm at to the variables. And then I always put the instructions area as Control 1. So I can jump around through the code this way by pressing Alt 1, Alt 2, it's my variables, and Alt 4, and I jump down to where I'm at. I Control Save. Control S is save. So I always save it frequently in case if it crashes. And every once in a while it will crash for some reason. Dev C++ crashes. My variable names are long so that it's always easy to know what's going on. You can not know anything else except reading this variable name and you'll know exactly what this code's about to do. It's like, just gets you up to date. Gets you up to speed on what's going on. You just read it and it explains. So you never get lost, you never get confused. It's like a guide. And what's great is when this code turns into an executable, it will change this name anyways to something easy. So this is really for the programmer's eyes only. Helps the programmer really know what's going on. And that programmer's me. Alright, so here we're going to have another loop. Yeah, we can put this in like this. Well, no, we can put all of this in actually. Okay. So it's going to be yeah, it can be like this. You don't need this though. So since the executable is going to be right here, this is a local file. It doesn't need to know the directory we're in. It's just going to locally access this. So since it's local, you don't need anything before it. You just write the name of the folder. And let's find the file's name. This would be the file name. This one. Okay. So alright, so while it's less than 100 years, search year by year for the file. So it's going to start with year 0, which would be 2000. So it's going to do okay. It's just a generic file opening algorithm. Oh, by the way, I just highlighted it all and pressed Shift Control I, and that moved it all forward by 1. Okay, this little thing shouldn't be here. Make sure my control 4 is put to where I'm currently focusing my attention, this line. And then I press Control S to save it. It's a habit, I always do that. I don't like array num plus equals 1, it's retarded. It looks horrible and it's not very intuitive for a beginner. And I want my code to be very intuitive for anybody to read it and know what's going on. That's a very unintuitive thing to do. Plus equals, it's like, what the hell? I don't like little shortcuts like that that look ugly and non-intuitive. My coding is very intuitively styled. And it's very important to me for my code to look easy and be easy to comprehend. Alright, so now we do this, because we're going to be changing just the year. Alright. And now this has to become a variable, the 17. So we'll want to turn array num into a string. Okay, so let me hide my string. I'm going to get an example from my other code. Alright. I always copy paste. I reuse a lot. So we're going to do year num. Okay. Actually, I'll do array num. I like to keep things general. Have less total variables that way. Array num string. So we just converted this number, whatever it is, 0 through 100, into a string. And now we can put it in for our year. Actually though, that's not gonna work. Let's see. Well, it'd start out as 0, so it'd be 200. It'll only work for double-digit years. But now that we're in the teens of this century, it's not going to hit a match until it gets up to 2017. Heck, I can even start at 17. So 17 would read it into the string stream, convert it to a string. That string will be 17, so it'd be 2017 space record/2017 space earnings tallies.txt. So it will be able to open that local file. So we did it. But we want it not to open up any file. We want it to open up the most recent year. So it's going to keep checking years until it finds one that's the most recent. So it's got to find one that doesn't exist first. So let's see. Alright. So we're going to have... I put a bunch of spaces before and after something I paste in just to separate for organization. So this is what we're going to work with. It's a group of code that sees if a file exists. So we're going to keep going through this until the file does not exist. So it'd go through, it'd try 2017. That's a valid file handle. So it would do nothing. It would go through again 2018. It is invalid. So then we'd do array num equals array num, or no, latest year equals array num -1. Because the first one that's a year that hasn't existed yet will represent the year after the latest year. So the latest year is that year -1. And then we'll pull all of this again. Actually, I like to keep it simple. So we'll just pull that information and leave. We'll just leave. So I'll do, like I could put it all inside of here, but there's no reason. I like to keep sections short. So we have the data we needed, the latest year. That's what we're going to accomplish here. We could accomplish more, but it's better to keep it simple so we don't keep nesting more and more stuff inside of, you know, this is already nested 1 times, 2 times. We don't want 20 nests deep. So then we'll do array num equals 100, which will break this loop. And we got the information we needed. So then we can close this whole thread, or this function. This is like a function. We'll close it. And when we close it, we'll also finding latest year file completed. So that's what we achieved. And then we'll do reading in latest year earnings tallying log file, waiting for brute force finding of latest year file equals true, and finding latest year file completed equals true. Set them both to false. jump our Control 4 we press to set a bookmark here. And then this is the information we got. That's what we needed. So we'll just paste that in for now. And we'll pull this back. We'll be needing that again. And then we'll pull this back. And we can get rid of this fluff. And then we can de-indent this. Shift Control U is de-indent. Alright, so now you can use our latest year. Oh, no, we can't do that. We have to turn that into a string. So we're just gonna do... well, wait. First, we gotta say what we're doing here. We haven't done that, so... Pull... Or wait. Extract contents of latest year earnings tallying file. So that says what we're doing. I like to always say what we're doing. This is the overall task, and then we have subtasks. So it's a very organized way. Everyone just joining the stream will actually know what's going on because of this. That's like what the whole point. Alright, so reading in latest year's earnings tallying log file, waiting for extracting contents of file equals true. Okay, so then we can do it. Whoop. Okay. I will just... Whoop. My mouse is glitching. It just registered a release of my mouse left click button, but I did not release it. Okay. So after finding the latest year, then he asks you to extract the contents, and then we do that here. So we space stuff out vertically. Never wanting any cluster of code to be too big and complicated. Just real simple. Easy to read. It says it's done. Gets picked up down here. Asks you to do the next thing. Writes it all out. Does it here. We'll say it's done. We'll report back to here. So I only do small tasks per function. Just one little... we break it down, one little thing at a time. We had pulled the latest year. Alright, that's good. So now we got array_num string is the latest year in string form. And we now can open that file. Alright, so if we fail to open it, Huh. Okay, so we retry. So we just go to here. We don't need a countdown to failure though. Not in this case. We'll just keep trying and trying. Alright, we didn't define sleep 4 in this code, so we'll just do a normal sleep. I had a custom sleep command called sleep 4. When it's really like handling a lagging processor, you can have the sleep command, which is 600 processor cycles, become like 2 minutes if your processor's lagging hard. So this is not actually a very good measurement of time, but in a software program that's not going to really have lag as an issue, then this will probably be a pretty consistent number. Or it will relate to a period of time more consistently. Alright, so if the file doesn't open, he's going to keep retrying. Sometimes Windows just doesn't open the file for whatever reason. So we'll just keep trying. With a 600-second delay, so it doesn't retry so fast over and over that it causes your computer to slow down. But still fast enough to where it's a little over half a second, so it will still try quickly. Just not too fast. Alright, you know what, that's not a bad idea. You know what, I'm gonna do that. Alright, so if the file gets bigger than the array declaration size, it won't cause a memory leak by reading in more information to the array than the size of the array, which can be really bad. So this will catch that. That's a good thing to do. Just in case if, you know, one year we earned so much I never predicted that we'd have that many lines in that file, we'll be ready for anything. And we'll be notified to increase the array declaration size to handle it. Then, oh, you know what? I'm just gonna system pause here, because I don't need my code to continue running in that event like I normally would do. It can be a breaking code, since this isn't code that runs all day long. Yeah, we want to do total earnings tally. We got to go through line by line and pull information. We can rule out, well, wait a minute. No, we can't rule out any lines, because a line like this could still have pricing information on this column. Since the columns aren't lined up perfectly, we'll need to go through the entire string looking for any numbers and tracking what column we're in based on each time we hit a bar. So this is going to be some substantial string parsing that we're going to be doing.